More answers to this debate, I will point out quickly to those debating virgins among us. We bang the hammer after 1 minute, which indicates that you can give us points of information, and then again after 4 minutes, which indicates you no longer can. It's interesting if you do offer points of information, otherwise we're just banging away like crazy for no reason. Whose phone is that? Turn it off. Thank you. And now, on with the next speaker, who will be Luke Terry.
I believe in uninhibited, uncensored, unrelenting, uncompromised, unconditional freedom of speech. It's too important to risk by limiting it, because every time we limit it, it's a slippery slope. I mean, all these footballers getting their super injunctions, they're putting our freedom of speech in jeopardy. And there's no reason for doing it, they're just covering up their debauchery. And it's so hypocritical, they want to be public figures, and then they think they can be private as well. Especially with Andrew Marr. Andrew Marr got a super injunction. Now he's an investigative journalist. His job is uncovering secrets. And he used the money from uncovering secrets, because let's not forget, super injunctions are very expensive. The going rate is £60,000. Don't ask me how I know that. But £60,000 for a secret. He's used the money he got from uncovering secrets to cover up a secret. And that is hypocrisy in action. And they also claim it protects their family. It doesn't protect their family. Because let's be honest, if they cared about protecting their family, if they cared about their wife, they wouldn't be sleeping with other women. And it doesn't happen. They seem to be worried that their children are going to be bullied. Their children aren't going to be bullied. But have you ever seen it? You know, kids in the playground shoving it, yeah, your dad's so famous and handsome and rich. He can see as many beautiful women as he wants in your face. It doesn't happen. But there is a risk. I mean, we get all these super injunctions, but it's a slippery slope. How long is it before we go from not being allowed to talk about the private lives of footballers to not being allowed to criticise or evaluate political decisions or politicians? In my opinion, this is a long way off. But think about Libya. Gaddafi, he wasn't overly keen on criticism. I know he's dead now, he's been killed. But before he was, I wouldn't have been allowed to say he looks like a melted Michael Jackson. Or a pig that's wandered onto the set of Rocky. Or even Jeff Goldblum's evil twin. But even in his being killed, even when he was killed, Gaddafi provided quite an interesting case of privacy versus the right to think, because the pictures of his corpse after he'd been killed were published in the tabloids and the newspapers, in The Sun, and I think it's absolutely fine. I think it's absolutely okay for them, The Sun, to publish pictures on the front page of Gaddafi, as long as they don't put them on page 3. And okay, you might think Libya, quite an extreme example. It's a bit of a dictatorship. Okay, well let's take a more liberal country, say a secular, democratic country like Turkey. Now I recently went to Turkey, and they have a national hero over there. His name is Kemal Ataturk, and it is 100% illegal over there. You can go to prison if you defame or deface him in any way. Now, and I wish that wasn't the case, and I wish they were more open about it. And I also wish I'd been told before I defamed and defaced. I'll show you in a minute. First of all, this is their Turkish lira, a 20 lira note. Now, on one side there is the Bollywood version of Freddie Mercury. And the other side is the defamed and defaced. Come on. I did this in Turkey, and if it was anyone else, this would not be an issue. But unfortunately, it's Kemal Ataturk. And so, because I did it in Turkey, I could, had I been found, been in prison. And when I found out I could go to prison, Turkish prison, for doing this, my first question was, how long is the cock of the man who's going to rape me in prison? We have a right to question it, because at the moment, yeah, we can't criticise this, we can't investigate the private lives of celebrities. Although I think the Andrew Marr was actually a bit pointless, a bit ironic, because he was lambasted by the press against the super injunction. He was accused of, masking the truth, shaming the press, and being like a whip, oppressing fellow journalists. Which is kind of ironic, because the affair he's trying to cover up also involves masks, chains, and whips. But we need to be able to criticise politicians, and it is a slippery slope. One day we may well get there. And we need to, because politicians make decisions that affect millions and millions of people every single day. And you think I'm alone in this decision, this belief that we have the right to criticise major things. Just ask the 500,000 people currently camping outside Madrid as part of the Occupy riots. Or ask the protests, sorry, not riots. Or people in Wall Street or St Paul's. Actually, people in St Paul's, showing we don't have full freedom of speech, they've just been evicted, basically. They've been asked to leave, they've been a letter. And because apparently people can get into the church. The protesters were stopping churchgoers. A small group of people with their strange beliefs can go to church. Is that 5 minutes?
No.